Boy, how many times do I have to tell you, work your land? That's the voice that I hear all the time in my head, although my pops never actually said those words. But my mom and my pops constantly lived out that lesson. They told me never to compare myself to anybody, that I was perfect just the way that I was, that I didn't have to look at anybody else's circumstances, just fall in love with my own. And they were not only telling me that, but they were also living it. And, my pops was constantly telling me, you're exactly where God needs you to be. And if he needs you to be somewhere else, he'd have you in that spot. And so I constantly hear these things over and over again. But I would always have the questions like, what if I could figure out a way? And my pops would be like, nope. What if it was faster? Nope. What if I had this deal that I just couldn't pass up? My pops, nope. And it helped me to realize, well, maybe I haven't realized it because I still mess up with it, that working my land is the thing that I'm called to do. Although it's not the most exciting thing, because a lot of times I see things that other people are doing and I'm like, I want to work their land. But the confidence to work your land comes from understanding your value and significance in him. And the only way that we could do that is by spending time with him. So Proverbs 6 punched me right in the face today, because for every excuse, every way that I was trying to make things like, no, I can do it this way by not working my land, working somebody else's, or trying to do these things. And God just keeps saying, son, I told you, work your land. So I'm excited for Proverbs 6 today as we run through it, 3,000-year-old wisdom that is applicable today, not from a religious standpoint, not from a ritual standpoint, but just from a relationship standpoint, and excited to be able to get this party started.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Work your land. This is not the most exciting thing to hear, but I hear it from, not in those particular words, but I hear it from my brother all the time. I hear it from my buddy Will, from my buddy Dave. When someone says just be yourself, or that, don't get in a rush. What I want you to go back to is thinking about working your land, the land that was designed for you. Every one of us has a purpose, right? And, to figure out that purpose, just identify your gifts, then go give them away, and you'll find that magic starts to happen. It's the gifts that we're given that we can't take any credit for. And this work in your lands concept, honestly, it frustrates me a ton. And in Proverbs 6, it starts to get really, really strong, and it runs it down. It's like every excuse that I could possibly think of why I should be doing something else than what I'm doing right now. It's wild. I don't know if you guys do it, but if you do, most likely you don't. Do it because you guys are perfect, and this is my journal of letting you know the imperfections that I have in my life, and that are challenging at times. I want to give a huge shout out to Steve Long, Small Town Hats Co. You guys see the hats there; they're coming. The Vibe hats, and these are all handcrafted, made by hand, a piece of art, a work of art and they're going to be available on the website very soon. There'll be a link in the bio, so I want you to do that. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Kelly Cardenas, and we're going through Inchstones, which is the small little things that we can celebrate and pile up, and they make the milestones that we're focused on, they become inevitable over time. And we go back to 3,000-year-old wisdom and test things against it. And a lot of times I'm not super happy with the results because they're smacking me in the face, like this morning, that it is work your land. And I got a chance to spend some time this morning with our men's group and we talked about this. And I think one of the coolest things is we laughed a ton. We were giving each other a hard time and going back and forth. And we were kind of almost hashing these things out. The difference between, faith just by itself, works just by itself, and then faith and works together. And I think God is calling us for a combination of the two. So that's what we're going to dive into today with Proverbs 6. So the first one that I looked at was mind your business, stay out of debt, and if you already are there, do everything that you can in your power to get out of it, meaning the debt. So mind your business. This is a really big one. And I've been challenged by this because a lot of times I want to mind someone else's business. I see their business, I see, what's going on in their life, and I want to be able to compare mine to that. I don't know about you guys, but there's been a challenge throughout my life. And God keeps smacking me upside the head and just saying, like, mind your business, stay out of debt. I was just talking with my buddy Cole this morning, and he's a young guy, 23 years old. He's talking about buying a new car or maybe keeping his old one. And we just, it was nice because Proverbs 6, which was written 3,000 years ago, was just talking to him about this part. Just stay out of debt, because what happens when you get debt, it becomes heavy. And when it's heavy, then you start feeding the monkey that's on your back, as opposed to just acting in your character. And debt will have the tendency to take you out of your own character. So just be conscious of that as much as possible. In verse 6 through 11 is nothing comes easy, quick, or without hard work. And I tell you, these are things that I wish that I could find just the easy path to something, but I've never seen it. Now, there's simple ways of being able to do it. There's streamlined, efficient ways. There's ways that people are able to circumvent other challenges, but it doesn't, like, business is not a straight line. Relationships not a straight line. It's going to take time. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take dedication. And there's no quick and easy to it. And every time that it's quick and easy, it has a tendency to not stick around very long. And if you're an entrepreneur out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're in a relationship or you have friends at all, or have acquaintances, you know that nothing really is a straight line. In theory it is, but then once you get into the reality of it, that's when challenges start to happen. In verse 12 through 15 in Proverbs 6 is jive turkeys are on the way. And what it meant by this is, like, it was just telling you as a precursor, letting you know that no matter where you're at, there's going to be some jive turkeys. There's going to be some people who come into your life, or situations that come into your life that aren't going to be the right thing, but they're going to be shiny. They're going to be exciting, and they're going to try and distract you from what you're supposed to be doing, working your land. And so jive turkeys are on the way, but just beware of them. And when you fill up with wisdom, you can see a jive turkey from a mile away. In verse 17 through 19, your eyes, your mouth, your hands, your heart, your feet, and your intentions are very important. Your eyes, your mouth, your hands, your heart, your feet, and your intentions are very important. So be aware of those. And what I would do is just do a checklist. Take a checklist in the morning. Where's my eyes? What am I looking at? Where's my mouth? What am I talking about? Where's my hands? What am I doing? What's in my heart? Like, what do I truly believe? What about your feet? Where are my feet right now? Where am I standing in my life, figuratively and literally? And then what are your intentions? And when you ask yourself those questions, check in on those. It's almost like if you were a pilot going to fly a plane. You check all the gauges. Even if you've flown the plane 100,000 times, you still check all the gauges to make sure that everything's in line, and then you go from that point. So do this little checklist in the morning, and if you haven't got it already, the Inchstones workbook is there. It'll take you through 3 months of Proverbs, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, and then you get to see your journal, what you write out, what verse hit your heart, what did it make you think about, and then what action can you add to that today? And it could do it over and over again. The link is in the bio. You guys should check it out. It's incredible. It's a year and a half of work that I put in, 30 years of study, one idea from my wife, and boom, we've got the Inchstones workbook. Thank you so much, Brooklyn. You're awesome. You're beautiful. You say nice things and you smell nice, and you always got great ideas. So in verse 20 through 26, mom and pops were right. Steer clear of silly, shiny things. Work your land and don't be fooled. I tell you, there is so many different distractions out there, and I fall victim to them. We can fall victim to them in the scroll, things like that. And it doesn't mean that they're not going to be there. It's just my mom and pops were right, and what this was encouraging you to do is to listen to your mom and pops, and whoever, maybe it's figuratively or literally your mom and pops. Maybe your mom and pops did the right thing. Listen to them. Maybe they said the right thing. Listen to them. If they did the wrong thing, listen to that. Listen to exactly what not to do. And I tell you, steer clear of silly, shiny things. Most of the time, silly things are really shiny. And if you chase those things, you have the tendency to get into a little bit of trouble when you work your land. It's not going to be exciting. It's going to be piece by piece, step by step. But that's how we build. And, I just want to encourage you in that, not to be fooled by the silly, shiny things. In verse 27 and 28, even a little bit of wrong is still wrong. Silliness never ends well. Well, what is silliness? I hear my mom's voice when I'm saying that all the time. It's just the absence of wisdom. The absence of wisdom is to not have the right use of knowledge. And so the absence of wisdom is silliness. So just don't be silly, because even a little bit of wrong is still wrong, right? And silliness never ends well. And these things, I hear my mom's voice again in it, and I didn't listen to my mom's voice all the time. I didn't heed it all the time, and I definitely didn't pay attention to it all the time. There's a difference between listening and paying attention. That's what we were talking about in our men's group today. Listening is free, but paying attention, think about it, pay attention. It costs you something. And so it costs you sometimes your energy or your focus or whatever it is. But God is saying, not only listen to me, but pay attention to me. In verse 29 through 35 is work your land, not your neighbors. And I don't know if God could reiterate this more and more. And I don't know if the message could be more clear. Because as it runs down, what I saw is that I was trying to make all the excuses. Oh, work your land. But what if I can, work somebody else's and it come quicker? Nope. What if this deal, I can't refuse. I can't overlook this deal because it's the greatest deal in the whole world. Nope. Work your land. And I'm very fortunate because I have my brother in my life. I had my mom, while she was here, but she's still in my heart. My pops, my friends, and they're just constantly work your land. You're just imagine, like, you're just at the point, like if you're listening right now and you're going through a struggle, if you're going through a struggle, you're just about to break through. And most of the time when we're about to break through is when the hardest times come. And so I want to encourage you, if it's in your business, your relationships, you're just about to break through. And when we rely on wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge, and that comes from the fear of God, meaning that we just have to spend some time with him, respecting God, which is fear of God. And if we just spend time with him every single day, it's not going to be, the hard thing about wisdom is that it's not set it and forget it. It's not just like, oh, I got wisdom. And no, it's a daily work. That's why we talk about Inchstones all the time. Little tiny things that you can celebrate each and every day that will pile up and become the inevitable milestones. So as we finish up today, your land was designed for you and will bring peace, joy, love, and abundance. When you try and work someone else's land, it will bring pain, strife, and pride. The choice is simple, but it will never be easy, so choose wisely. Working your land is one of the greatest things. Like, I think about De La Soul, right? And I've been reading the book High and Rising, and I think it's by Marcus Moore, I believe it is. But De La Soul started off in 1989, was 3 Feet High and Rising, end of 88, early 89. and they stayed together. They stayed together. They did their albums. Now, some of them didn't get critical acclaim. They didn't have, number one hits all the time. But they stayed together. They worked their land, and now they're legendary. I think the most legendary group in hip hop, and my number one favorite of all time is De La Soul. But if they would have conformed, or they would have switched around to different people, like, oh, the landscape is looking different, so I need to do this thing. No, they did what was in their heart. They created amazing art, and some people did not catch on until later. And my mom would always tell me this, is do exactly what you are purposed to do, son. Work your land. And at some point, people will find out, or they won't. And either is okay. And I want to encourage you right now that you don't have to work somebody else's land. You don't have to conform. You don't have to do it this way because the trend is that way. What I would say to you is you are designed for a purpose, exactly where you need to be, and you're exactly where you need to be at the exact right time. And if God needed you someplace else, He'd have you in that spot. So just work your land. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you. Check out the Inchstones book. It's a workbook, playbook, workbook, whichever one you want to call it, that will take you through the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. This has been Proverbs 6. It's another episode of Inchstones, and I encourage you, seek wisdom, listen to it, apply it, and then guard it at all costs. Fill up your heart with wisdom, and it'll end up coming out your mouth, which will cause your hands to move in that direction also. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.